Welcome to the Airport Podcast. In today's episode, we'll delve a little deeper into airport vocabulary. I have a very special guest with me. She works at the airport in the administrative sector and is well-versed in many terms that can assist us in our study of all things airport-related. Good afternoon, Carla. Welcome to this podcast.
Good afternoon, Anna. Thank you for the invitation. Today, we'll practice airport vocabulary.
That's right. Let's discuss various types of airport vocabulary. And let's also talk about the most commonly used airport terms. Carla, many people feel unwell when traveling by plane. They experience dizziness, nausea, and sometimes even the urge to vomit during the flight. It seems that life at high altitudes isn't for everyone.
When you're traveling by plane and feel unwell or have the urge to vomit, remember that there's an air sickness bag in the pocket of the seat in front of you.
So, if I feel like vomiting, I grab the air sickness bag?
Certainly. You grab the air sickness bag, and if you don't find one in the pocket of the seat in front of you, you can ask the flight attendant. Air sickness bag. Vomit. Dizziness. Feeling unwell. Altitude and turbulence are commonly used vocabulary during flights. It's important to learn these terms. Let's talk about airport vocabulary. The boarding pass is what you receive when you check in. And you'll use the boarding pass to enter the boarding area. The boarding area is where you'll wait to board your plane.
Boarding pass, noted.
The check-in counter is where you'll be assisted for the check-in process. And it's at the check-in counter where you'll be attended to by the check-in agent. The check-in agent is the person responsible for handling your check-in. We have the airplane, which is the means of air transportation we'll be flying on. We also have the crew, who are the individuals that will assist you during the flight.
So, what is a crew?
The crew is the group of people who work inside the airplane. It consists of flight attendants and the chief cabin crew member, who is responsible for assigning tasks to each of the crew members. We have the pilot, the aviation mechanic, and also the co-pilot. Inside the airplane, we have the cockpit, which is the area where the flight controls are located. The space where airplanes circulate is known as the airspace, the sky. To prevent accidents and aircraft collisions in the air, we have air traffic control, which operates directly from an air traffic control tower. Additionally, there is an aerodrome control center.
I understand. And what is an aerodrome, Carla?
An aerodrome, Anna, is any surface, whether land or water, that has infrastructure designed for the landing, takeoff, and movement of aircraft. But let's return to airport vocabulary. We have the Air Traffic Control Department, which ensures safety in the airspace. We also have air navigation services. Air traffic management is another crucial aspect. The radar is responsible for aircraft location. Specifically, it handles location and surveillance. There's also a term related to instrument flight procedures. And finally, a commonly used phrase is search and rescue.
Fabulous, all this information, Carla. In the previous podcast, we mentioned many airport-related terms, and we also discussed customs. Customs is located at the airport, and indeed, every airport has a customs post. It's in customs where we find retained goods, and any issues we need to resolve with customs are handled by a customs agent. When arriving in a country, we also need to complete a customs declaration, which is precisely the document that specifies what valuable items we're bringing to declare to the government. I believe we also touched on taxes and fees charged by customs. Now, Carla, could we talk a bit about passport control and immigration?
Certainly, we'll talk a little about immigration. Immigration is a crucial point at the airport. It's where they record people's entry. Entry into a country is permitted. Passport control takes place at immigration. Some individuals may be denied entry, they are precisely stopped at immigration. You mentioned a bit about taxes and fees to pay, Carla. When you exceed the allowed days to stay in a country as a tourist, you'll have to pay a fine for the days exceeded. So, taxes, fees, and fines are frequently discussed in the airport's daily operations. I believe nobody enjoys paying taxes. So, if you're traveling and listening to us, remember not to exceed the permitted days within a country to avoid paying taxes. Or rather, I mean fines. Or even worse, being deported from that country with your entry visa cancelled, depending on the country. It's a serious matter. That's true, nobody deserves to pay a fine.
We're nearing the end of this podcast, but before that, Carla will mention a list of very important airport vocabulary.
Alright, let's go. Airport security. Metal detector. Body scanner, which is that machine we step into. Baggage X-ray. Security inspection. Security agent, the person responsible for personal searches when they suspect someone. Restricted area, where passengers are not allowed. Access control. Document verification. Prohibition of liquids, especially flammable liquids. Prohibited items. Interrogation room. Camera monitoring throughout the airport. Inspection zone, where bags are checked for drugs. And lastly, runways and takeoff.
What is the name of the man who stands on the airport runway with a flag, signaling to the pilots?
The employee who handles flags at the airport is known as a portabandera. This person is responsible for signaling and guiding aircraft during takeoff and landing operations. The role of the portabandera is essential for safety and organization in the airport environment.
Incredible and surprising, Carla. Thank you very much for this information. Thank you for your visit. Thanks to everyone who was listening. Subscribe to this channel and like this video. Until the next podcast. Goodbye and many kisses to all.
Thank you, Anna. Thanks to everyone. Goodbye.